Hey everybody, just want to share a quick little insight from my study general conference this morning. While I was working out, I was listening to David O. McKay's April 1933 general conference address. And David O. McKay was talking about Fort Vaux. And Fort Vaux was a fort in World War I where the French and the Germans were fighting. And the Germans were trying to take the French city and the adjacent fort nearby. And Fort Vaux had a commanding officer. And this general had declared that they shall not pass. And that the French troops rallied around that call and fended off the Germans and slaughtered 40,000 Germans who were attempting to storm the inner citadel of this fort. And David O. McKay then relates that to us. And he talks about how our prophet has given us direction and has given us the battle cry. And it's up to us to not give up the line. Just like the French soldiers, if they had abandoned their posts, Fort Vaux would have been overrun. If we choose not to listen to the prophet and the lines he's drawn, think about them. We have marriage being between a man and a woman, gender being eternal. There's many others. But when we choose to abandon those lines, the defenses are overrun. When the defenses are overrun, the first thing that gets ravaged is the families of those who abandon the defenses. You may think you're doing it in love, but it will ultimately hurt everyone you care about. But David O. McKay talks about this, and he talks about the fact that this general rallied his troops and that they were able to hold the line. And then he said that we must hold the line at all costs. And so my invitation to you is to ask yourself, what is the line that the prophet is asking us to hold? Whether it is a line regarding marriage or regarding gender or regarding being a peacemaker or regarding forgiving others. The prophet is clear in what he's asking us to do, and we need to listen to his cry and say, Satan, you shall not pass this far, no further. And I really love the story of Fort Vaux because this is the story that a lot of people believe inspired Lord of the Rings and the Balrog. And I love Lord of the Rings. And just kind of that thought that the prophet is kind of like Gandalf. And he's like, no, you cannot pass, Satan. This is where you stop. And each of us has that opportunity to say, no, you shall not pass. You are not allowed to come to my family and destroy us. We will hold the line. We will follow the prophet. And when we find that we are following the prophet, we will find that we are in unity with the prophet and unity with Christ. And when we are in unity with prophet and with Christ and others are doing the same thing, that's when we will really, and only then, will we find that we are one and then we are his. Unity comes through following the prophet, through listening to the battle cry and to defending that line and saying to Satan, you shall not pass.